I'm going to give you 3 must-haves or creative items that you need in your photo bag that have nothing to do with cameras. We're shooting with the EOS R. I usually shoot with the 1DX Mark II or III, so today we're actually going mirrorless, and there's a reason for that we'll get into. I have my 24-105 f4 lens, and then I also have a 50mm 1.2, both the RF versions of the lens. They fit very nicely, and I also have my battery pack. So this is what we're shooting with, and now I'm going to one by one show you the different things that we'll play with as we shoot our model Christina. By the way, if you recognize this space, if you are a regular Adorama, we are in Daniel Norton and Seth Miranda's studio. They kindly let us hide in here instead of freeze our butts off outside on the New York City streets. All right, so we're gonna get set up right here. We're gonna sit because we're just gonna get comfy, so feel free to join us. But reason I'm sitting is because I'm actually gonna use this sunlight here, and I wanna be able to use that with the model, and you'll see how we do this. So the 3 things that we're gonna use, we're all going to use these to play in front of the lens. So I'm going to give you 3 things that are just going to enhance your photographs, really no matter what you're photographing. It's going to give you instant foreground, instant quality boost. And the first one here is shooting with beads. Now, you can shoot with any kind of beads, but what I like about this one is that these are kind of like crystallized, so they're not opaque, they're a bit translucent, and it's going to create some really cool effects. In addition to having it be a really bright color, I also have two-tone and got some gold going on here. I just pulled this out of my jewelry box. A friend of mine gave it to me. All right, the reason I really wanted to shoot mirrorless with this is because I'm going to have a much better view of how this is affecting my photograph. So just off the bat, I'm going to get my exposure where I want it to be. I am shooting in this live view mode, so I want to make sure that my shutter speed is pretty high to avoid camera shake. I'm pretty shaky. But I'll also use my camera strap and my elbow to kind of get what I need there. So my settings right now, this looks pretty good. My settings are, let's turn my vertical grip on. There we go. Just always double check my histogram. But yeah, this looks pretty good actually. We are at 1000 ISO. I know, it's high. Don't panic, guys. It's just 1000, and it's the EOS R. You can't even tell, really. I am at f4 because that's the limitation of the lens, as low as it goes, and I'm at 500 to make sure that I have no shake. I'm on auto white balance. The auto white balance on this camera is pretty darn good, so I'm gonna not worry about that, and we're just gonna shoot. All right, so this might be fun for you to see in the back of the camera, so let me just clear all the information out of there. Do me a favor, lean forward just a little bit. I'm having her lean mostly so that I can keep my elbow stabilized. And chin down a little bit. So once we get her kind of where we want, now we're gonna start playing with where we're putting this in the frame. The closer we get, the blurrier it's gonna get. All right, and the further away we get, the more you're gonna see it. But the fun thing is, once I get a little closer and I let it hit this light, that's when kind of the magic starts happening. So just gonna take a bunch of different frames. It does take a second just to get used to. And let me actually go horizontal, because that'll add a whole different element. Love that. There we go. Hey, Jared. He's always checking up on me, that one. Beautiful. All right, so let me show you what this looks like in the back of the camera. You've just got this nice, gorgeous bokeh, for lack of a better word, going on here, and that's when the light was hitting it. If I swipe, and we go a little bit further over, let me actually just go to 10 images. This is when we were shooting with it a little bit closer, and then let me go. No, you don't want to see that one. There we go. This is when it was shooting, we're a little bit closer to the lens. See how it's just a red haze? Versus when we moved it further away from the lens, now you can really see the circles of the actual beads. And then when we stuck it in the light, you gotta be careful not to overexpose it. So we adjusted, and it just adds a fun little element. So that's number one. Number one is beads. Number two, you may have seen this one before, guys. This is a prism, and you can get these. Maybe that's, I don't know, it says Amlog crystal. I just found it. It's pretty easy to find. Prisms, you can use like holiday ornaments, you can use all sorts of stuff. So we're first gonna shoot the exact same thing. Do me a favor, lean forward a little bit and just kind of do one of these.
What camera lens are you thinking?
This one is the 24-105 4.0. All right, so I'm keeping my same exposure, again, mostly for the camera shake. And now we're just gonna take the prism and mess with it. Again, using mirrorless, this is what's really helping me by shooting in live view. See what's actually happening. Love this. And you just slowly turn the lens, or turn the prism, and change the angle. There we go. And now, oh, you can see a rainbow right there. That's a lot of fun. So that last shot, we're able to catch the rainbow. And on this one, the rainbow is actually pointed towards the camera, but we can change it and point it towards her. Let me go back. No, that's my computer. But you can see, you can kind of almost make it look like a light leak here, or as you keep turning it, you can get a really nice haze like that one that just really brings your attention in towards Christina and her gorgeous blue eyes. I'm honestly like cheating photographing you.
You got a couple of questions?
Yeah, sure.
What's her setting looking, and how did you get the exposure?
I got the exposure just by looking in live view, and then we check our Instagram to make oh my gosh, we check our Instagram to make sure it's okay. But we're at ISO 1000 so that, again, I know it's high, but so that we can get to the lowest f-stop we can do on this lens, which is 4.0, and then be at 400 on my shutter so there's no camera shake. So those are my settings and reasoning. Now, let's try getting crazy. I'm gonna put the prism in the light, and I'm gonna try to turn it until I find, whoa, low rainbow. Chin down a little bit. And now with this, I'm gonna take it with the settings that I have right now. This is not the easiest thing to do, but thank God there is iFocus. I really don't have to do that much work. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lower my ISO so everyone can like breathe easy. Because when I wanted to, Christina knows, she's like, yeah, that sounded high, Vanessa. Do me a favor, chin all the way down. Keep going a little bit more, eye it to me. Yeah, that's perfect right there. And then look towards the prism, but not right at it. That looks great. Maybe I can get a little bit. Nice. So now we've darkened the exposure a whole bunch so that we can see the actual rainbow on her. And that's another fun effect. And then of course this way, if we didn't adjust for the exposure, it just becomes a white line on her. So when we adjusted and darkened it, my exposure became ISO 50, because, you know, I just kept going low until I got to a nice low ISO. Preferably I'd be at ISO 100, so it's a native ISO, but still at f.4 and 400th of a second. All right, I'm gonna switch my lens, and we're gonna get to my last little trick. And you know, the fun thing about this too is I'm not really adding anything extra to the weight of my camera bag or even that much space. So I'm putting on the 50 millimeter here. Now this one is a 1.2 lens. Normally, I don't shoot as low as 1.2 by any stretch of the imagination because I really want a nice crisp photo, so a little bit extra depth of field helps me. However, with the mirrorless technology and the eye detection and face detection, shooting at 1.2 is kind of easy. So I'm not gonna shoot that low, but I will. Let's go back to 100 on my ISO. And let's get to a shutter speed I'm comfortable with. And it looks like I can be about 200. Let's go a little higher. Let's go to 2.0. It looks like I can be at ISO 200. Let's go to 250. I want it a little bit brighter. That looks good. I don't mind if I'm blowing out the background because I'm actually going to stand up a little bit for this one. But here are my settings for right now. We're 500th of a second to make sure I stay stable, f2.0, and ISO 320. So the last trick I have Vuelve la Padre de la Novia. This is a CD or DVD I got in Spain when I was studying abroad there. It does not play in DVD players on this part of the world, so now the CD is my newest photo prop. So let's give this a try. First thing I'm going to do is get a little closer. Let me flip all your hair kind of in front. I want to get a shot where I kind of like just see your eyes. That's fun. Let's tap right there. And I'm a little too close to you, so maybe here. Maybe. Okay. That's good. Just going to take a shot to make sure the histogram looks good for what I want. Which, by the way, you just click info and you can see the histogram. I've got good spectrum there, so that looks nice. And I'm going to introduce the CD. So we are just going to put it next to my lens, move it around a bunch. Do me a favor, move your eyes down this way a little. Nice, beautiful. And just see what this does. Let's go about here. Now the cool thing about the CD is that you can, that looks nice, you can actually get a reflection in here, like this one. This looks so much fun. Turn your head a little more this way, right there. Cool. So if you can see that, what I've got right here, that's actually her hair. And you can see it again here. So we can even do this again. This part, we're just kind of whiting it out or blurring it out on one side. That's blurring it out, and you just play. But again, if you look at what we're doing, I can actually light her eyes. Keep your eyes down so I don't blind you. But it's still kind of fun to do this. Chin down a little bit. Chin down a little bit more. Keep going, probably right there. Now I'm going to find the light. It makes an interesting shape. And then, of course, I'm going to compensate for my exposure. And on 3, you're going to look up at me. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Look down. You can do that one more time. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So now we've got just a cool light shape right there, just on her eye. The nice thing too, even though it's blinding Christina a little bit, with this picture specifically, her pupil gets super small so that the color of her eye really pops. So that's just a fun little photo there. That's not even camera gear. You can really elevate what you're doing. So we shot with a CD, which you can get for free now basically. Now you got something to do with all the CDs that are left over that you can't do anything else with. We shot with the Prism, and we shot with random jewelry. So try it yourself, look for something new that you can photograph with. Once this gets on IGTV, you can put it in the comments, inspire each other with different things that you've shot with. I certainly would like to hear it, because if I'm on a wedding day, I want to bring little tricks like this to just elevate what I'm doing. So I am at Vanessa Joy here on Instagram, and if you go to YouTube, youtube.com/Vanessa Joy, I'll have more videos like this. And of course, Adorama's YouTube, there's a ton of stuff under the Breathe Your Passion, I said it right, playlist. That's mine. Thank you guys so much for joining me and Christina. And on her, it's way prettier.